Welcome back. In this video, you will understand what is an unwrapped service and a wrapped service and how to generate them through WSDL. If you have observed the generated code after you generated the code from WSDL, you will see that on top of every method there are two annotations, request wrapper and response wrapper. If you observe clearly, the request wrapper annotation is mapping a tag called as get price belonging to this namespace to this class, and response wrapper is mapping a tag called as get price response belonging to this namespace to this class. So basically, whenever you are sending a request from SOAP UI, it will look like this. Let me open the SOAP UI. So this is the SOAP UI. Whenever a client is making a request, client will send an XML like this. So on the server side, when the request comes to server side, corresponding to this update belonging to this namespace SQS belongs to which namespace? wait-learn.co.in/SQS service. So it has to be mapped to update class. That's where the request wrapper class is doing. See here, request wrapper annotation. If you see, here we are mapping get price belonging to this namespace to a class called as get price, and there is a class also called as get price which is generated, and also get price response tag belonging to this namespace is mapped to get price response class. So when the request is coming from the client, this tag will be mapped to update object. An update object will be created for this XML. Then before invoking this method, before invoking the method in the class, say here, before invoking this update method, the wrapper class, from the wrapper class the corresponding parameters will be extracted, and the extracted parameters will be passed to the method. Let me just show you the contract first solution. Here now you can understand. Before invoking the method, from the wrapper class a field called as symbol will be injected into this method. Similarly, before invoking this update method, from the update class symbol and price will be extracted and they will be passed to this method individually. So behind the scenes, the XML is converted to update object, but before invoking my method from update object, the symbol and price are extracted and they are passed to method. They are happening behind the scenes because we have annotated the method with request wrapper and response wrapper. Let's take a simple scenario where in the XML, when the client is sending, let's say the client is sending a very big XML like this, which contains various tags, very big XML. Let's assume that there are 50 tags. Then does it make sense for my method to take 50 arguments? No, right? It will be convenient for me to make my method to take the wrapper object itself. Then in my logic, whenever I want to extract the fields in this update class, the wrapper class, I will extract and use it. So my method taking 50 arguments is not a good solution. So in some scenarios, I don't want the request wrapper and response wrapper annotations. I want my method to take the wrapper class itself. Okay. So I hope you understood about in which scenarios you want the wrapped object as your method argument. Now, if you want the wrapped object as your method argument, what you need to do while generating the code, let me show you. I have a separate project here. If you see, this is the WSDL, same WSDL. This is the bindings XML file. I have written a separate XML called bindings.xml. So root tags is binding, and here we are writing bindings and specifying a node WSDL definitions, and I am specifying enable wrapper style. False. I don't want wrapper style. Okay. So I said wrapper style is equals to false. Then this is a binding file. While generating the code, what we have to do is, for ws import, I need to pass an extra argument -b and point it to the bindings file. Now, if I generate the code using this option by giving binding.xml, let us check. I'll say run as, build.xml, I'll run as, and build. Yep. So let me refresh. See, here is the interface which is generated. If you see interface which is generated, my method get price is taking what? The wrapped object. And you observe that on the top of the method there are no annotations like request wrapper and response wrapper. Similarly, for update method, it is taking update object, the wrapped object, and returning update response. Here also it is taking get price, returning get price response. In your logic, you are using the wrapped objects itself. So this will be convenient when the client is sending lot of big XML, huge XML. So you may want to work with wrapped objects. Okay, this is a way to generate using the bindings. But let's assume that my interface is having, say, 50 methods. Only for few methods I want this style, unwrapped style. This is called as unwrapped style. Okay, so I want this unwrapped style only for few methods. Let's say I want it only for update method, but for get price method it should be normal. So what I could do is, in binding.xml, if you see, I have given node and I gave an XPath expression. The meaning is, all the operations under this tag, all visual operations under this tags will be for all the operations under this tag, this style will be enabled. Enable wrapper style false is applied. So I don't want it for all the operations in all ports. So what I can do is, I will just comment it out. So I have already the code. See what I am doing. I am writing in the bindings tag, I am writing node equals to visual definitions / port type / operation. I am going till operation tag by using XPath expression, and I am selecting a node with attribute, operation with attribute name is equals to update. So / visual definitions, under it / port type / operations, these are the operations, and attribute name is equals to update. I am selecting this operation whose name is update, and for that only I am enabling wrapper style as false. Now let me generate the visual again. So let me generate the code from visual again. It's successful. I will refresh. See the interface. For get price, the method is not taking a wrapped object. On top of it, it is using wrapper style, request wrapper and response wrapper annotations. But for update, the update method is taking the wrapped object, and here you can observe that soap binding parameter style is equals to bare. That means the wrapped object, whatever is coming from the client, the corresponding object is barely passed. Whatever is coming from the client, this XML is converted to object and the bare object is passed. That's why its parameter style is bare. By default, what is it? It is wrapped. Parameter style is wrapped. That means you are saying that the client will be sending a wrapped object, but my method is not taking the wrapped object. That is the meaning. So for only this method it is wrapped. For the other method it is, for this method is bare. For the other method, by default, if you don't specify anything, it is wrapped. Okay. Hope you understood how to generate a bare service, a method which is bare. If all the methods in the interface are of same type, then This soap binding will be on top of the interface. Okay. So hope you understood. Now what you have to do is you just have to open this 8th documentation, unwrapped service. Follow the steps given here and complete the exercise. See you in next video.